All right, I think we have most people admitted. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. If you don't mind just checking, I think we have a couple of people that were unmuted, so make sure that you mute your microphone. But again, thank you for joining us today. We're excited to go through what the Ready portal is going to look like for some of the items coming up for Indiana's BEAD program. We've gotten a lot of questions about what to expect, so we know it's always easiest if you can just see it ahead of time. So I think we're going to have about 30 minutes of demos that you can see it, and then we'll save time for questions. And if you want to drop questions in the chat as well, we can keep track of those. But otherwise, this is being recorded. We'll make sure that this gets out to you for any folks that weren't able to be here today. And otherwise, I am going to turn it over to Logan Card from the Ready team to do the demo. Thanks, Logan. I think you're muted, Logan.
Lovely. Great start. Hi, y'all. My name's Logan Card. I'm gonna walk out through a pretty quick demo of the portal, and I'm really excited to show y'all what we have. So, just question to the room. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep, we can.
Looks good.
Yep. Cool. All right, so you would log into the portal as normal. You would typically go find yourself here in the home screen. So if I'm an applicant, I'm going to hit BEAD reporting and go first to the project's dashboard. And that's kind of where I'm going to start, y'all. You would see all of your projects, the ID, name, subgrantee, award, match, and a couple other key metrics. You'd be able to filter and sort just like any of our other tables, and you'd be able to kind of click into a project and see some kind of high level data about the project as well as its locations. You can also export a location file again, and that export can be filtered or searched. You'll get locations and CPIs separately. Any questions on the dashboard? I know this is pretty straightforward. The only thing here is the IBO will be able to send you files, files or attachments, anything they really want over here. And so it'll be this will also be a place for y'all to kind of interact with the IBO. Cool. All right. Next thing I'm going to go to is project plan. I know that y'all have already walked through this for the most part, but just a quick refresher, and I know this one looks a little bit different. You'll have your locations here at the bottom. Same thing. Locations will be able to be exported and filtered. And then you'll have towns and cities, counties, grant amount, etc. You'll have your filled out activities, your filled out budget, your permit section, and then any additional questions that the IBO is asking. Again, I know y'all have already seen this. I don't want to spend too long on it, but that is a useful piece that I wanted to make sure that we walked through again, especially as things kind of start to rhyme a bit in later instances of the portal. So the next place I'm going to go is compliance. This is where all of the compliance documents are going to live. So anytime that the IBO is requesting a compliance document from you, this is where it'll be. For example, the ESAP questionnaire and the EHP milestone schedule are both going to live in here. If you are an applicant, you would click through in this fashion. So you go to report compliance, select the document you want. I'm going to click NEPA pre-screening, for example. I'll select the project that it's associated with. And then those aren't necessarily always at a project level. Sometimes they are at a NEPA project level or at a subgrantee level. It really depends on the report itself, but it is configurable. So I'm going to hit no. And then these are the kinds of questions that are going to be asked. It's file uploads here. Though that can be limited to specific types of files or specific kinds of files. So make sure that you read what formats are accepted. I know that's a pretty common issue is, hey, it's not letting me upload this file and it's designed not to in a certain case. So make sure you read what's said here. But we also have the ability to accept lots of different kinds of files. So whatever is needed, we'll be able to configure that. These are going to be more file upload questions. We'll also have attestation. So if you run across an attestation, you'll hit I certify here. And then we'll have long answer, short answer questions, and those are just text box responses. The important thing to note here is if I click into this next section, submit the report is grayed out. And the reason it's grayed out is because this NEPA pre-screen section does not have the green check mark. So if I hit yes, I don't have those follow-up questions. Now I have the green check mark here, and it'll allow me to submit. Importantly here, this says that this tag here shows that the report is in progress. Once I submit, it's going to say, I think, awaits review or in review. It's awaits review, so it's right here. So this is the one I sent, and this is where you're going to see it. This is also where you'll see any revision requests that get sent back to you from the IBM. Yeah, Brenda.
Yes, what I don't see there in the portal is there an area where you sign the attestation? Or is the
No.
person that is submitting signing the attestation?
So the person that submits, and let me reopen one. The person that submits clicks on the check mark for the attestation. So let's open a new one. So if I go to create new compliance report, let me hit no. I hereby attest to blah, blah, blah. Hit I certify, and that's how it's done.
Okay, okay. And so it's a little bit different like than the ICP portal and that type of thing. Got it. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and questions are
you.
welcome. So those are the different kinds of compliance reports are going to show up. You will have access to all the compliance reports that you do submit via this dashboard here. So you'll have type, status, etc. Importantly, you'll have these nodes up here. So awaits review is all the ones that were submitted but haven't been looked at yet. In review is where they've started to review it, but the review hasn't been completed. And needs revision is anytime that you've gotten a revision request back. The last one, of course, is completed. That means that there are no revisions. The review has been complete and you have either been accepted or rejected on that specific report. Any questions on compliance reporting as a whole?
Logan, could you give some examples? And I think you ran through this at the beginning, but exactly like what things for Indiana would be under this, like the CADX questionnaire, others, just to give people a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So NEPA pre-screening, if you need it, is going to be there. But the two things that are big that we have set up right now are the CADX questionnaire, so that's going to be the ESAP questionnaire, and the EHP milestone schedule. This will also probably be used down the line for BABA and some permitting functions, although we have a permitting function in development that is coming through soon. So that might be completely out of this, but for now it's going to live in there. But those are the kinds of reports that they will need, and any onboarding reports that Mississippi or good Lord, that Indiana might need from you.
Logan, Joe Corella, one quick question. Everything here is around compliance, but that does not include periodic reporting, correct?
Correct. And I will get to that in just a second. Cool. All right, hopping over to the report section. And then this is the last section of this part of the portal. So if I hop into reports, I'll start with location level updates. So the kind of key here is that we know as you build, the things need to be tracked on a location level, and this is kind of the way to do that. The best way to do it is by downloading this template. I'm going to pretend that I hit download and instead just go to the Excel that I already have open. But this is what you'll get. So if you hit that download button, you'll get a list of your location IDs, CAI is CAI lat long, and then service status. So you can say pre-deployment, construction, service available, etc. And then you can say what activities are not started, what activities are in progress, completed, not applicable. And then you can fill out all the dates here, and then max upload download speed and service designation. So once you would complete that for the locations in this project, you would upload it and it would fill out this table down here, and you'd be able to sort on your different locations and their statuses and their start dates, end dates, etc. Natasha, do you have a question?
No question. Sorry, my computer glitched on me, so that's I'm all good.
No worries at all. Just making sure. Um, this map also will change colors, so the actual dots themselves will change colors, and you'll be able to see how it is. You'll be able to see the status designated with each dot. You can also
Logan,
click on, yes.
One more question. So imagine I'm at the end of second month and we update all of the affected BSLs.
Mhm.
This 2 months later, we do it again. Do we update the already revised version, or do we have to re-enter everything? I'm guessing that we modify what we had submitted earlier. Is that correct?
Yep, so this is one of our few reports that are live. So if I go make a change here, I hop out and come back tomorrow, I can make another change and that immediately goes to the IBO. So they'll
Great.
see how you
Thank
change
you.
this in real time. Yeah, of course. A few just like, standard map features down here if you need them, and ways to filter locations. You can also create a node. And what nodes do is, let's go X, Y, Z, and these coordinates are going to be super, super wrong. So please excuse me for that. But what nodes will be able to do is it's a way for you to be able to group locations in whichever way that you would like to. So let's say that naturally you would think that this group of locations would be its own thing. But if it's, for example, bisected by a river or by a railway, okay, you can't build these all in the same area, all in the same timeline. So then you would have to make a node for this group and for this group. And then instead of bulk uploading on a location level, you can bulk upload on a node level. So you can submit specific nodes and specific groupings of locations and do them all at once. So it's a way for you to kind of fix the problem of having to update each location and know each location. Instead, you can just pick a node. Continuing in there, you can also upload or update active subscription and not serviceable, and then just upload any additional documents that you might need. And again, this doesn't have a submit because it is live. So anytime that you make a change in this, it'll automatically save and automatically get sent to the IBO.
Logan, on those nodes, are we able to upload a polygon to make selections on those?
I think that is in the works, but I think current state we're not able to yet. But let me see, because I know that is in the work. Shoot. I know that is in the works, but I don't know that that's available for creating a node. I know you can, if you saw, like you can highlight certain locations and then update those certain locations. And yeah, you can send them to an exact node. So great question. Our engineers sometimes move faster than I do. And so, yeah, you can absolutely add those to a node, not via a polygon, but via a click and drag. Cool. Any other questions on location level updates? Perfect. All right, I'm gonna hop out of this and go to progress reporting. And so this is where your quarterly or semi-annual reporting is going to live. I'm going to click on report progress. I'm gonna click on my project. I'm gonna click on semi-annual. Oh, I think it's quarterly that's set up right now. I'm gonna click on quarterly for now, just because that's what's set up. I'm going to create a new progress report, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. So you'll see a really high level summary of where you are on the project. reported location status, and these get pulled from those location level updates that we just walked through. And that will show your pre-deployment locations, construction service available, and active subscription, both as a raw number here and a percentage up here. The next thing you'll do is accepted service availability. So this is where the IBO will go in and accept it. What percent got accepted, the IBO will choose that, and then you'll be able to see that here. The evidence is going to be here. We're not quite sure what this is going to look like yet, but we'll have this set up by the time that things are actually getting done. You'll see a total project completion here. You'll see the disbursement progress here, and we'll move to disbursement requesting in just a bit, but this is going to be, okay, what level of disbursement progress are you at for your specific project? And then finally, you'll see construction activities. So what percent of construction activities are in progress and what percent are completed in this project? Any questions on summary before I move through? I know this one's kind of dense. Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Pre-deployment activities, we don't have anything here. Deployment details, these are going to be configurable, so it's not going to look exactly like this. We're going to work with the IBO to get the exact questions here. But it's just going to be, again, normal question answer format with a couple of auto-populated fields here and here. So if I hit next, NTIA required data, same thing. If I say Google, for example, it'll error out because it's supposed to be a number. But if I say 23, it'll work. So a lot of times those kinds of issues do exist as well, where some answer bubbles or answer text boxes are limited to only certain types of responses or certain lengths of responses. So that is a kind of consistent pain point. So just make sure that it is that you know what question you're answering, and that should work pretty well. And then the next piece is, once you answer these two questions, you'll get the green check mark, just like in the last section. And the green check marks all the way across the board is what's going to allow you to be able to submit. Moving on to financial, this is where it starts to kind of rhyme with what y'all have already done, is you upload your filled template and it's going to look exactly like project plan. So if I say cost item, I'll say hello world. I'm going to say text here. I'm going to pick my cost category. And I know those are a little different in Indiana, but I'll say $300 and $400 total cost details and justification, XYZ, hit save. And then you see this financial statement come across. And so this is going to be the way of, if project plan is the way to get the baseline for what the financial details of the project are going to look like, this is going to be where you show the actuals of every point in the project. And again, this is for quarterly or semi-annual reporting, so that's going to be for the entirety of that reporting period. Next one is the damage assessment.
That's actually spending. Yep. That's actually spending, correct? Not
correct.
Drawdowns.
Correct. I mean, it will, necessarily be both, but yes, it'll include all of the spending on the project. The next one is the damage reporting section. So this is where, if things get damaged, this is where you will fill out your damage reports and upload them. These haven't been configured. Yeah.
Did we go back to that previous slide? Because I didn't quite pick up. You were moving pretty quick there.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to make sure, because the question, whoever had that previous question, it brought it up for me too. The quarterly reporting, it looks like to me, what I'm seeing here is these are quarterly requests for reimbursement.
No,
or disbursements.
So the disbursement request is the next section, and I'll show that. Those are going to be at a milestone or activity level. This is when you do your semi-annual reporting, and we're tracking costs on the semi-annual report.
And just to clarify, Logan is showing quarterly because this is a demo environment, but the IBO does not have quarterly reporting. It's the semi-annual reporting. So this is just what's set up in demo, but it would be semi-annual for the reporting requirements.
Yep, great call, Megan.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, this is where you would upload a document containing the different or the table of damages and the associated information needed. I'm not going to show the document today because we don't have it completely set up yet. But it will be a download and then re-upload and then another attestation. Final attestation, hit confirm, you'll get the green check mark, review and submit if the entire thing is completed. Any questions on progress reporting? Cool. And then last but not least is request for disbursement. So this is going to look pretty similar, but it will be slightly different. So let's say that I am a provider, and let me go back actually to what I just did. Let's say that I'm a provider on this project, and I know that I just completed my signing of my subgrant agreement, and that allows me to, get dispersed or get paid for the first time. So I will click my milestone, click my project, and then hit create request. This is my overview. Again, it's kind of similar. You'll get a project cost distribution, and then you'll get a distribution for the actual disbursement. I'm going to go ahead and click actual costs. Again, this is where stuff starts to rhyme, and you'll have your cost categories that should be pre-populated, total actual costs, your cost item, and then you'll be able to save, and that will save a table of your actual costs. You'll then include your match funding. So I'm going to say $700. I get the green check mark here. I have my attestation. I hit review and submit it. The IBO will review it, and then you'll get paid.
And then I just want to step in here and provide some more context. So under the section where you're doing costs here in disbursement requests, that's going to be in alignment with the categories that you just set up during project plan. So that flows through the disbursement. So here we're not asking for receipts. That's not the purpose here. We're tracking spending against the budget categories that you already established during project plan.
Absolutely.
So Megan, could you give an example of that? So just real life, categories and examples, so that, because I know on like your first milestone disbursement, what are you expecting to see?
So for example, you might have seen admin, folks might have had a pretty significant section for admin costs or permitting costs when they did their budget breakdown and project plan. So I imagine for the first few milestones, we might see more heavily cost items associated with those things.
So if you had, for example, pre-application costs, preliminary design and engineering that were in your admin, it would be shown here.
And again, it's only as detailed as what was provided during project plan. So against those budget categories.
And I can pull up the budget categories if y'all think that would be helpful for Indiana specifically.
Yes, please, if you could do that.
Okay.
And we also, additional context, those budget categories exist because those are the semi-annual reporting budget categories. So Indiana chose to standardize against those. So we're not asking you for different budget categories at different points in time. So again, we're just trying to make it so that as we move through this program and kind of reach each reporting milestone, then, we're not asking you to do duplicative work. So.
And then can y'all read this? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, these are the cost categories here.
So B is what you filled out during project plan or what your options were. C is the description, and then A is directly how that maps to semi-annual reporting categorization.
Perfect.
And you're never going to ask for, we don't upload invoices or ACHs at any time during this process. We keep them, of course, we have to have that from an accounting standpoint, but are we ever going to be asked to upload those? And if so, where?
Yep. So it is not part of the standard disbursement request process. However, there may be points in time where, for monitoring purposes, the IBO asks to see specific receipts or invoices associated with a milestone. And so that would be more on a case-by-case basis where we would work with you. We don't expect that kind of wholesale for a disbursement. That would be more under monitoring. Good question.
Well, that's just a standard of keeping the costs anyway, but I'm just, at what point do we, provide that? Thank you.
Cool. Well, that is everything that I had to show. Wanted to leave a ton of time for questions. If you have them, that's great. And if not, we could get a little time back. But yeah, any questions?
I think one other piece that might be helpful to describe for folks, I think between the disbursement request process and the location level updates. So obviously, as we go through the fixed amount subaward milestone schedule, once we get kind of to the latter milestones, that is all associated with having service to a certain percentage of BSLs. So the Ready system is smart in that it will automatically unlock those milestones under disbursement request for you once you've met the requirements in your other reports. So for example, you would have had to report service to 10% of your BSLs under location level updates to unlock that milestone in disbursement requests. So just again, the system being smart and how this all works, making sure we have all of the appropriate evidence that you've met that milestone, and then you can do the disbursement request.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, is for the disbursement requests that, yeah, exactly, that they will be locked until the requirement is met.
What do you have here under permitting? I see there's a tab on the left for permitting. Are you going to go over that at all or no?
I can. This is a brand new feature. It's not built out yet. So I have to trust y'all to not take this with anything more than a massive grain of salt.
Okay.
So I can show it, but it's
okay.
Still being worked on. The idea for permitting is that we want to be able to make a really robust way of keeping track of permits from the provider side. Or I suppose it's on both sides, but keeping track of what permits the providers have picked up. So we want it to kind of be a live and refreshable permitting environment. Frankly, I'm not quite sure what's here, but the idea is that you would have a permits dashboard where a provider can create a new permit or update one that's already been started. And I don't think these are clickable, but that's kind of the idea for how this would work. Again, take this with a massive grain of salt because this hasn't been fully fleshed out yet.
So from Indiana's perspective, during project plan, you uploaded some basic information about the permits that you already know about or expect. And so Indiana, the IBO's perspective on this is, we are not here to micromanage the permits that you're going to have, particularly at a local level or related to your pole attachments. However, we will have things like the permitting roundtables as well as the RSM team to help you with those permits if needed. And so we expect to build on the information that you provided during project plan, so that we can help you along the way if there's collaboration needed, if you need to find the right contacts for certain permits, or if you're facing problems. So we will likely use functionality like this in the Ready portal to do updates in that way, and understand what's going on with permitting for our subgrantees.
Thank you.
Of course.
Is there going to is there any functionality within the Ready portal for, or I guess, is this how we'll manage communication with IBO, or is that going to be standard just emails back and forth for curing items or tasking or anything like that?
For things like revisions, the IBO will be able to send you revisions, revision notes, and any files that are needed through revision requesting in the portal. For like true communication, it's going to be mostly still the exact same channels that you've been using before. So email, however you get a hold of the IBO. So they'll be able to send you things. You won't be able to send things back to them other than just in the portal. And I saw a note in the chat. General release date is gonna be when we're starting to use whichever thing. So compliance reports should open relatively soon, Megan. I think that's right. But I think it's gonna be as it's needed basis.
Yeah, so we won't have any semi-annual reporting this time around via the portal, but you can think about that for the next semi-annual report. So think December timeframe for that piece. And then as we get contracts signed, or continue to get them signed, you will see the disbursement request process opening up. And then I think the most notable pieces that will be opening will be around NEPA and the CADEX questionnaire, given that that will really be the next milestone for folks. And I believe we're trying to have that open in the Ready portal, I think in the next 2 weeks, really. So.
And then Eileen, I saw your message about the CADEX questionnaire. Yes, there will be upload functions for the supporting documentation. I think it's Eileen. I might have said your name wrong. I'm sorry.
Folks have any other questions for Logan or the IBO team? Yes, this is being recorded, Becky, and we should be able to get that out to you, I would say sometime tomorrow, the full recording.
And you avoid the highway باش تنطوا هذا الشيء. What you think? أنت ما أحسن.
All right, any other questions from folks?
Sounds good. Thanks for the time, y'all.
Thank you all so much.